Hi everybody, it's Karen at Simply Living for Him. I'm here to do my daily devotional video. These videos can be found every day on my YouTube channel, and also you can find them in the Simply Living for Him online community that is just for women. It is completely free to join. These devotionals are there every day. We're doing a monthly Bible study. Right now we're studying in Matthew 6:25-34, and we're talking about overcoming worry. We also have scripture writing and memorization challenges, so I invite you to join us. It's simplylivingforhim.com/community, and it's completely free to take part in any of those things that are going on there. Today I wanted to talk about anger. I was sitting outside before, and I was just kind of, thinking about how much the past several months have been emotion-led for many people. There's high emotions based on so many different things that have gone on in the past several months in our world and in our country. And, it leads to a lot of high emotions, which then spills out in our actions. And I was just thinking how it's so very important for us as Christians to really live with humility and to seek peace and to live with gentleness, because I was looking up different verses on anger, and those are not going to achieve the things that are godly in the end. A lot of us, I talked about it on the last devotional. If you missed it, you'll want to go check it out. A lot of us are so angry and so emotional because we're really focused on this world right now. But I was saying in that video how we, this world is not our home. It's a temporary home. It's not our home, but why do we act like it is? Why do we act like this is all there is? So it's okay, to have emotions and to get angry about things, but we always have to look at that in light of God and what He says, and remembering that how we act during the circumstances is often better than, God changing the circumstances. And, how we behave comes from the fruits of the Spirit. Our actions are an overflow of our hearts. Romans 8:5 says, those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on the flesh and the fleshy desires. And those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. So when we set our mind on the things of the flesh, often we're going to overflow with our anger and, our emotions. But when we set our mind on the Spirit, we can have the fruit of the Spirit, the gentleness, the patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. So I want to read to you guys some verses here that I just looked up verses about anger, and I thought, I can't just pick one for the devotional. I'm going to read to you several. Ephesians 4 says, verse 26, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. Anger gives the devil a foothold, and he loves it because we're focusing on the things of this earth, the flesh, the stuff, and, that gives the devil a foothold into us. We are not displaying a humble spirit, and we are not displaying a peacemaking spirit. There's obviously a place for righteous anger, but I also believe that a lot of the anger we see over many different things. I'm not thinking of one thing right now, so I don't want you to think that this is about like one specific area. I'm just thinking like right now, I feel like no matter where I turn, I'm seeing angry people. And so, this is really just about a generalization. So James 1:19-20 says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Is your anger really producing anything right now? Or is your anger stirring up others to get angry? I see a lot of that going on. A lot of that going on right now, especially on the internet. Is your anger producing the righteousness that God desires? Or is it letting the devil get that foothold and producing just more anger, more angry people? Proverbs 29:11 says, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." Are you bringing calm? We as Christians have an opportunity to be a voice of calm in a very chaotic world. Don't take that lightly. We have an opportunity to have people set their minds on the things of the Spirit and not on the things of the flesh. We have an opportunity to point people to Jesus in all things, to give God glory in the way we carry ourselves and in the way we behave. James 1:20, oh no, I read that one already, excuse me. Proverbs 19:11, a person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Ecclesiastes 7:9, do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Twice now, those two verses have talked about anger being foolish. So when you think about your anger, again, are you stirring up others for anger? Are you producing fruit in your anger? Are you producing righteousness? Or are you just looking like a fool? Proverbs 15:1, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. I've talked about this before. Are we stirring up people for Jesus, or are we just stirring the pot? You know, it's very easy to stir the pot and to just like, oh, I'm going to share this and I'm going to share that. And, you know, name calling and putting people down. There's no place for that when our mind is set on the Spirit. A mind set on the Spirit does not tear another person down, no matter how angry you are and how, passionate you are about something. When our mind is set on the Spirit, we're going to act like it. It says in Proverbs 15:18, a hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel. Patience, again, a fruit of the Spirit. We have the opportunity to stir up conflict or to stir up patience. You know, this world, we are not supposed to look like the world. We are not supposed to act like the world. We have our minds set on the Spirit, not on the flesh. And when we're sort of just acting like everybody else, people aren't going to think we're any different. They're not going to want to know Jesus when we're just acting the same as them. We want to let those fruits of the Spirit be on full display so that others can see Jesus in us. Colossians 3:8 says, but now you must also rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. I see a lot of that these days, you know, just a lot of, just like sharing a lot of anger, sharing a lot of slander, and filthy language, to be quite frank. So be very careful of how you behave in your anger. And if you're feeling that high emotion of anger, because there's just all different things. Again, like I'm not focusing on one specific area because there's just so many right now. So I don't want you to think this has to do with any specific area. But if you're getting yourself angry and worked up over something, don't go posting about it. Go to the Lord with it. Ask him to calm your heart. Ask him to work. Ask him to show you how you can, handle that within. Because if we just react in anger and spill out and vent on the internet, again, we're just stirring the pot. And we need to have the Lord deal with us in our hearts first. So sometimes it's better to say nothing than to go and just spill out with emotion. Proverbs 16:32, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. James 4:1-2, what causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You desire but do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. There's a lot of quarrels going on these days, a lot of, fighting amongst people. where does that come from? Is it come from a place of humility or a place of pride? Are you going to God first with your issue, or are you just taking it out there into the world? Proverbs 22:24, do not make friends with a hot-tempered person, and do not associate with one easily angered. A hot-tempered person and one easily angered is not displaying the fruits of the Spirit, not operating in the Spirit, operating in the flesh. So we want to surround ourselves with peacemakers. We want to surround ourselves with goodness and kindness and gentleness and self-control, acting out of humility. Let's see. I'll leave with this one, Psalm 37:8-9. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it only leads to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. Now, I want to balance that out with some really good verses, okay? So I read to you a bunch of verses about anger, but I hope that those would prepare you to then hear these good ones. Colossians 3:12. Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. Ephesians 4:2. With all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love. When we're angry, we're not often acting out of love. Usually it comes from a place of self-interest. So we really need to consider others and act out of a place of love. Titus 3:2. To speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. I love that. To speak evil of no one. There's not much of that going on these days. It says, avoid quarreling, be gentle. 1 Timothy 6:11. But as for you, O man of God, flee these things. Here we go. Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness. I know we get angry at godlessness in this world, and we get angry at sin, rightfully so. But then we're fixated on those things. So how do we, deal with those things? But then truly, in order to we need to take action. A lot of people get angry at things and then stay there. How do we take action? Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, gentleness. People are never going to be won over to Christ because we're angry. They're never going to see Jesus in us if they only see our anger. If we really want to change things, we act out of humility and love and gentleness and kindness and patience. Philippians, let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. I know some versions say, let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. And that is, what did I say? Philippians, I just lost it here. Well, Philippians 4:5, sorry. So let your gentleness, your reasonableness, you want people to look at you as you have a sound mind, because often when we're angry, we don't have a sound mind. We're just spewing our feelings, right? But we always want to act out of truth and not out of feelings. We always want to act out of the Spirit and not out of the flesh. So I hope that encourages you today, that if you're starting to feel angry, or you're starting to feel just, like those emotions are taking over, number one, get off the internet. Because there's not a lot of kindness and humility and gentleness and peacefulness going on there. So just avoid that right now. But number two, if you are going to take part in those kind of conversations, how about we be the ones that bring gentleness into this world? Because there's enough anger out there. What the world really needs is to see Jesus. So I encourage you in that today. I hope these verses would help you. I'd encourage you, go look up some more of your own. What does God say about anger? And what does God say about a gentle and quiet spirit and a peaceful spirit and being a peacemaker? So I hope that encourages you, and I will see you next time.